for Spencer Piggott. All right, 9 rounds complete in Pro Mazda. We'll catch you up on the third quarter of USF 2000 next. This is the Mazda Road to Indy third quarter highlight show with Anders Grona and Kevin Lee. In the only race of the season on an oval for USF 2000, Aaron Thielen starts 6th and wins the race, his first in USF 2000, dominating at Lucas Oil Raceway the night before the Indianapolis 500. And Austin Cindric with a great result.
A career best result for Austin Cindric there, finishing right in front of Victor Franzoni, also with a fantastic run.
Florian Latour won the pole. He came home in 6th position. On to round number 8 after a 2-month hiatus. And this is on the streets of Toronto, the Allied Building Products Grand Prix of Toronto. Now, yesterday, we had significant weather issues, and that has truncated today's schedule. So it's a 25-minute timed race, and they will race twice on this Sunday. Florian Latour won the pole for the 2nd consecutive race, his 3rd straight weekend, the 4th overall this season. R.C. Enerson, the points leader, starts on the front row. Jake Edson, Henrik Furuseth in row number 2, and keep an eye on 14-year-old Colton Herta on the inside of row number 3. At the bottom, you've seen the entire field. This is a rolling start, and we are green, starting on the wet again today. Overnight rain, Anders, has made this track a little bit more difficult. Yet
another race with tricky conditions here, as we see all these guys are on wet tires right now, and the majority of the track is wet. However, we have an incident here. That looks like Jeroen Slaghecki, Nico Jamin, and Clark Topi involved there as well. Looks like most people are able to get away, but that is terminal for Jeroen Slaghecki.
So an early incident, and Latour was able to maintain the advantage. Battling back there for the 2nd position, though, we see Jake Edson getting through to 2nd.
Great job from Jake there. Made a move on the championship leader, R.C. Enerson, around the outside of turn 3.
And that is going to bring out a yellow, so significant contact. There's Slaghecki. And there is Kevin Anders Sori.
And Nico Jamin as well. 3 cars out very early in this race. Looks like Slaghecki had no idea Nico Jamin was on the outside of him going through turn 1 there. And these conditions are just so tricky, as we can see here. Completely crooked steering wheel for Nico Jamin. Clearly some damage to his car.
Well, you know you have to get through those first couple of corners, but you also know that's going to be your best opportunity to really make up some ground. So everyone's going to force it a little bit.
Tell you what, one of the guys that got lucky there was Austin Cindric. He just managed to thread the needle there, as we see on board here with Victor Franzoni, rather, doing a great job to avoid that crash.
And one more look. That's Gustavo Mayasava we're riding on board with. He's coming inside the curbs. That's the night train car, the 77. That's Austin Cindric we mentioned, who squirts to the inside. Mayasava does the same thing.
Great job from Gustavo Mayasava there to avoid an incident. But as you can see, these guys are 4 wide going through turn 1. This is a corner where you typically struggle to put 2 wide. So put things into perspective, something was probably going to happen under these slick conditions.
So Jamin and Sori are climbing out. We're under yellow in the early going of USF 2000. Working yellow, USF 2000 from Toronto with Anders Grona and Kevin Lee. Lap number 5, getting set to restart in just a moment with pole sitter Florian Latour in front. And it's Jake Edson, R.C. Enerson, he's the points leader. Henrik Furuseth, Colton Herta, and Daniel Burkett.
As we can see, the track has started to dry up here with the green flag now being thrown. A lot less water on the track than when we ended, and this could provide quite a bit more grip.
Latour will get the jump into the first corner.
As we see Daniel Burkett looking for the inside there in turn 1. That does not usually work out over that wet concrete patch.
Still a lot of moisture and some challenging issues with visibility, but not that bad. We've definitely seen worse this season. This is one of the wettest seasons we've seen with IndyCar and the Mazda Road to Indy in quite a while.
It really has been, and it's going to reward those drivers that are well-rounded, that have done their practices in the wet and in tricky conditions. And certainly this is some of the trickiest conditions you can find. A wet surface on a street circuit. It doesn't get much tougher than that.
Still challenging to get through these corners.
That was Victor Franzoni with a good pass on Adrian Starantino there. It looks like he's on a charge. Now he's going to start pressuring Aaron Telitz there as they go through turn 6. Adrian Starantino just falling back ever so slightly there. Gustavo Miyazawa now putting some pressure on him. But look at this. Henrik Furuseth around the outside of RC Enerson in turn 9. Can he make that stick? It looks like he can. And they're still fairly close. Oh, Henrik Furuseth running wide, and it looks like he may have had contact with the wall there in turn 11.
He hung on to it, but let's keep an eye on that's the black 96 car.
He's all right now, and he manages to hold on to that third place there. Good save from him there. It did look like he got awfully close to that wall in turn 11.
I thought Enerson might get him back, but Furuseth, the 17-year-old, 18-year-old now from Norway, is able to hang on to that position, so he's running in third.
Be interesting to see if he can catch up to the leaders now. We know that the Cape Motorsports cars out front with Florian Latour and Jake Easton are doing a great job out front, and it'll be a tough task for him to catch them.
And the Cape Motorsports team has won the last 3 championships in USF 2000.
They are the team that all the other teams want to beat. They've won so many races, so many championships, and really they are the odds-on favorites to win it yet again.
But neither Latour or Edson have won a race this season.
That's exactly right, and it's a freak situation for Cape Motorsports. They're used to winning multiple races, and matter of fact, up until last year, they'd never been off the podium in the revitalized USF 2000 series since the start in 2010.
They have been close. Edson running in second position right now, second at St. Pete and the Grand Prix of Indianapolis in the second races of both of those. Third at Barber, and Latour, the leader we see there in the 10 car. He's won the 4 poles this year and also finished second a couple of times.
Look at the pressure Jake's putting on Florian right now. Florian just needs to keep his eyes forward. He needs to keep his focus up because Jake is clearly quicker right now. And now it's just a matter of limiting mistakes from Florian. Tremendous amount of pressure here from Jake.
And that's the key to the pressure. Not only do you look for passing opportunities, but the more pressure you put, the greater a chance of mistake. And now he's taking that opportunity to go side by side.
And Jake was very, very smart there. He showed himself, but knew he wasn't going to make that pass on the outside into turn 3. So he's going to look for another opportunity there. But just like you touch upon, it's all about the pressure. It's all about mentally being the better man. And Jake is certainly showing that right now. And Florian has got to be extremely stressed under that helmet right now.
Edson is still chasing Latour. The 2 teammates have been battling, and as you see, not much time left. So this is really a sprint race, shortened because of the inclement weather this weekend and how much they're trying to pack into this race day.
And these 2 guys are putting on an absolute clinic right now. They've pulled away from Henrik Furuseth and are pushing each other so hard right now in these drying but still wet conditions.
Is it ever going to dry enough where these tires are going to start to lose some of their grip?
I think the tires will slowly but surely start losing their grip, but overall the Cooper tires are very, very good tires, and they do keep their grip. Just like we saw at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway earlier this year, they will hold up even under completely dry conditions.
And you can't even consider coming in for the slicks, the dry tires, even if it did significantly dry up, because you'll lose so much track position in the final 8 minutes. There's Garth Rickards.
That's a shame for him to see him. It looks like he has spin there. Looks like he might have also hit the wall there. We see a little bit of white stuff on his sidewall there. Yeah, just loops it by himself there coming out to turn 11, and it's such a tough corner here under these tough conditions to get right, and it just looks like he gets on the power a little bit too early with a little bit too much steering input and just loops it around. Luckily, he avoids big damage.
He is just 21 years old from Pennsylvania. And then trying to get it back around. This is challenging, and he's in a bad spot there as he goes in reverse, and this is a semi-blind corner.
Oof, that's just a bad situation right there. That is so easy to get T-boned by someone there. So he can consider himself lucky. The fact that he's able to get back underway is a great thing.
Back up front, Latour maintains that advantage, but Edson is still within reach.
And it looks like Edson has just released a little bit of that pressure. He was all the way up against Florian's gearbox, but maybe now he's just taking a little bit of a mental reset, just thinking, okay, where can I get him? Let me set up for a pass here. They have a huge gap on the next guy back, which is Henrik Furuseth.
Picked up a little bit of ground going into that corner.
A little bit of a slide there as we see Peter Portante now challenging Burkett, and Victor Franzoni trying the inside there into turn one, not going to be able to make that stick, but close quarters battling. Oh, look at that little moment there from Daniel Burkett. These guys are pushing each other so hard right now. Now we're down that long back straightaway. Peter Portante is actually going to bump draft Daniel Burkett. That
looks like go-karts.
That is not something you typically see in open wheel racing.
No.
That almost caught Daniel Burkett out and could have easily put him in the wall, but these guys so far keeping it clean as we see Colton Herter around the outside in turn three. This is great racing we're seeing here right now.
The wet always makes it more entertaining. Not the best for the spectators, and sometimes it makes the schedule challenging, but it has had a lot of positive influence on the entertainment factor this year.
Wow, what an aggressive move from Victor Franzoni there, just throwing it up the inside in turn six on Daniel Burkett, and that allows Aaron Tielitz to jump as well, to pounce on that opportunity. So we're seeing some amazing racing here right now, and I don't want the race to stop.
Tielitz, our most recent winner on the only oval of the season at Lucas Oil Raceway. From Wisconsin, he's just 22 years old.
And it looks like the final section of the track here is almost completely dry. They're still slipping and sliding around a bit, but it is very, very dry at the moment.
Here's Colton Herta in the 98 being chased by Victor Franzoni, who won the opener at St. Pete. And more action in the pack. The 91, that's Starantino, who won at Indianapolis in one of the GP races.
And look at that, Daniel Burkett in that as well. It looks like Daniel is in every battle here at Toronto today. This is his home country right here, so he is going to want to put on a good show for his home people.
He's from Winnipeg. 4 top 5s this season for Daniel Burkett in the red Bellardi Auto Racing car.
And it looks like he is holding up Gustavo Miyazawa and Adrian Starantino ever so slightly.
That's up front there, and it's still Florian Latour. He's stretched that advantage now into 2 or 3 car lengths.
He has, and I didn't really see that coming. It might have been a situation where Jake Itson just abused his tires just a little bit too much in the early stages of the race, but now it looks like he's catching back up again, so this is just a chase right now.
Well, we're getting close to the finish, so stay tuned. As you see, just 4.5 minutes remain here in USF 2000 from Toronto. Back in Toronto, round 8 of the USF 2000 Championship. The final minutes of this timed event are winding down. Florian Latour won the pole. He has been trying to hold off his teammate, Jake Edson, for the entire race, but Edson has always been within reach, and now, after falling back 3 or 4 car lengths, is back with under 1 car length of the disadvantage.
Look at these two guys putting on such a good show for the fans out here today. They're now about to go through turn 6 here. Only a couple laps remaining here. This is one heck of a show, and you can see they're still sliding around out there, but the track is a lot more dry than when we started the race, and we see battles all through the field here. Colton Herta and Victor Franzoni going hard at it as well.
Racing has been good throughout, even though the leader has maintained the advantage throughout the race. This is for 5th position. Peter Portante in the 24 car there out front is leading the 14-year-old, running in 2nd position. That's Colton Herta.
And Colton just showing great maturity well beyond his years here. He is only 14 years old, but showing the maturity of a much older driver.
Oh, look at this up front. Edson on the outside in the 2 car. These are teammates. Latour in front in the 10. Latour hangs on.
And you can see they are treating each other with respect, but not more than they have to. Again, we don't ever want to see a teammate take each other out, but at the same time, they are your toughest opponent and your toughest competitor, and they are pushing each other so hard right now. Latour, they're squeezing Edson in towards the wall in turn 1.
And neither has won this season.
And this would be a groundbreaking victory for either of them right now, so they're going to be pushing each other all the way to the checkered flag.
Edson recently turned 20. Latour is still a teenager, 18 years old, from France.
And Latour made the trek over to the U.S. last year for the very first time through the USF 2000 Championship. This year moved up to Cape Motorsports, and he's been doing a great job ever since.
He's ready to pounce. Back in the pack, Furisev.
It looks like he's got some damage there. That car is crawling all over the track. He was lucky not to get hit by Burkett there, but he is slowing down. I wonder if that's because of the damage he sustained earlier in the race by hitting the wall in turn 11.
We're staying green. Inside of 2 minutes. No white flag this time, so 2 laps to go. Oh,
A little moment there from Florian Latour, and he goes straight on in turn one. He's going to disappear there, but as you can see, luckily there is a drive pass there. But this is essentially handing the victory to Jake Edson there.
Well, he's lucky there is a way to get out of there. Otherwise, he'd have to stop at many other courses, turn back around. So he comes back out in second position. Now, that's no solace right now because he's thinking, I've just blown the race.
He has indeed, and there's no way Jake Edson's going to throw this away at this point. So here we are on board with Florian Latour, just braking quite late, trying to defend, and then realizes, nope, not going to make that corner. Better take the loop around here, and yeah, he is very lucky indeed that there is a drive-through.
Well, that's what we've talked about. Edson has been trying to put pressure on Latour, make him work hard, make him hit his marks, and he made the mistake.
And finally, the pressure was too much, and Florian made a mistake, and Jake is capitalizing on that big time now. He's en route to win his first USF 2000 race ever, and he stepped up from the F1600 Championship Series last year, where he won the championship and has done all the right moves. He's been consistent, he's done a great job, and here he is en route towards his first USF 2000 victory in the streets of Toronto, an absolutely legendary track.
So he's got about, looks like maybe a 50 to 100 yard advantage now at this point on his teammates, so no mistakes. That's all Jake Edson is thinking about. And one more time around the streets of Toronto here at Exhibition Place for Jake Edson.
And he's just got to keep his head cool here. He's just got to limit his mistakes. No mistakes on this final lap, whereas Florian Latour at this point in time is going to be kicking himself. That was such a bad mistake from his part. He was leading this race the entire race long until 2 laps to go, and then made that mistake, and there's no way he's going to be able to catch back up to Jake Edson and challenging him here on that final lap.
Pressure. That's what Edson has been applying all race long, and Latour finally cracked, and Edson is there to pounce.
And it is going to pay off big time for Jake Edson here as he navigates turn 4, about to head into turn 5 here, almost a completely dry surface here. He's on the completely dry line. He's going to weave into turn 6 here, long right-hander, long duration corner, and now going to stretch his legs on the back straight, and with only a few corners to go, I don't see him making a mistake here.
And now you're listening to every noise within the car. Let's don't have any mechanical issues at this point. No driver issues. He can gingerly move this car around this 11-turn, 1.75-mile course. And Jake Edson is just about home. Checkered flag in the air, the right hand waving, and Jake Edson is a winner in USF 2000, winning on the streets of Toronto.
What a huge win for him and Cape Motorsports. This is their first win of the year as a team, and Jake Edson's first win as a USF 2000 driver, and he's just got to be ecstatic.
Impressive drive, and Cape Motorsports finishes 1-2, the 3-time defending champions. Here are the final results. Peter Portante with his best finish, and R.C. Enerson gets up to 3rd. Important for him, and also our Tilton Hard Charger Award goes to Juan Maldonado, improved 8 spots from 21st to 13th. Entertaining racing at Toronto, and let's hear from the winner.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. When we did a track walk this morning, it was really slippery, so I thought that the conditions were going to be a lot worse. But when we went out there, I saw it was starting to dry, so I'm like, all right, this could be a pretty good race, and it was. I mean, I finished 2nd and 3rd a lot this season, so it's a great feeling to finally finish on top. I knew I was just as fast as Florian, and there's a few times I got a pretty good run on him going into 2 and then 1, and I just knew I had to put enough pressure on him that he'd either make a mistake or I would get around him sooner or later. But he put up a good fight, and yeah, I mean, it was good, clean racing.
And it's a good passing throughout the race. Our Replay XD moving the race, Anders.
Aaron Telitz there making the move on Victor Franzoni on the outside of turn 3, going into the braking zone here. Great move for him.
And there was another race on Sunday in Toronto, and this time Florian Latour got it done to get his first win to a clean sweep of the day for Cape Motorsports with Wayne Taylor Racing. Here are the results for race number 2. And Jake Edson, 2nd. So a 1st and a 2nd, and Aaron Telitz also on the podium.
Great job also from Victor Franzoni and Clark Topi with top 5 finishes, whereas R.C. Enerson with gearbox issues had to retire from the race and loses very valuable points in the championship.
So a great weekend for Cape Motorsports, Wayne Taylor Racing, Florian Latour, and Jake Edson swapped the top spots on the podium throughout the weekend. And here's how the championship looks now. Latour now is in front. His teammate Edson is 2nd, and R.C. Enerson falls to 3rd.
What a huge drop for RC Enerson right there. He has lost valuable ground as we see Aaron Thielitz now getting ever closer to the top 3 as well.
So we're headed down the home stretch. Pro Mazda races at Mid-Ohio, Milwaukee, and Sonoma. USF 2000 at Mid-Ohio and Sonoma to finish up 2014. Thank you for joining us. For Anders Krohn, I'm Kevin Lee. This is the Monster Road to Indy on NBCSN.